Hello everyone, Michael here for Tactica Imperialis. Welcome to today's video. Today's episode 17 of Adeptus Podcastus, where I'm joined as always by Remleiz from 40k Theories.
Hello everyone.
And Ego Queen Alexis.
Hey everyone.
How are we doing today, folks?
A-okay.
Not too bad, all things considered.
Indeed. The date as of recording is the 28th of April. I feel like I need to mention that because we're getting 8th edition announcements every single day. So by the time this comes out, we will have missed a lot of stuff. So there will be speculation in here, which we will have addressed in the next few days. So if we do talk about stuff that has already been addressed by the time you're watching this video, then we apologise. Just needed to get that out there. Public service announcement.
Cue the people screaming for end times.
Shut the No, I have a different rant. I've saved my rant. I have my rant for later. If we get time.
They have their place.
Yes, so are we going to address the elephant in the room or should we get to the rest of the news first?
What elephant? There's elephants now?
Remleiz, you might
Chaos
need to
Warhammer's confirmed.
You might need to do a new xenology series on this elephant in said room.
Chaos Warhammer's confirmed for 8th edition. Sorry.
Are we
Carry
not
on,
being
Michael.
assholes yet?
I didn't realise you ever stopped. There we go.
Wow.
Truth.
Michael, I know you're salty about not being invited for Alexis's RP, but Jesus.
To be honest, I didn't even realise that it was going on, so whatever.
Neither did I.
I only knew because you tweeted about it.
It was kind of a spur of the moment, I planned it like 4 weeks ago thing.
And
That's the longest out you've ever planned anything.
It's okay, because I actually, after planning it, immediately forgot about it.
Now that's more
Sounds
like
about right for you.
it. Anyway, so yes, are we going to talk about 8th first, or are we going to talk about everything else?
Let's get all the small things out the way first.
Okay, I suppose the best of the small things would be Shadow War Armageddon then, because that has a full set of rules.
Yes, a new hardcover rulebook with 2 new factions listed in it. Sisters of Battle and Inquisition.
The Sisters of Battle are god-awful.
I play Tau, they're god-awful as well. Yes, I know, Tau's supposed to be broken, but in Shadow War, they're not, they're terrible.
Well, if you guys watched my latest battle report against Dark Eldar with Grey Knights, the guy had his guys so packed together that when I did Astral Aim, I killed half of his army. And he bottled out turn 2 and left.
I was playing... Go on, Remleiz.
This is why you never bunch everyone together in skirmish games.
I was playing, I think it was the Relic mission, and I was in a mission against Necrons, and they had a death mark. So I was like, so what's going to happen is I have to infiltrate, destroy the Relic, and get out before turn 2, or the alarm's going to go off. Because the death mark's going to arrive 2 inches away. Well, great, this mission just went to pot.
Yeah.
And then Immortals happened, and I was dead. Yeah, Tau.
The Tau are, they're
arse.
interesting.
They're arse. They're arse. I lost 4 on the bounce. I lost to GC the Cults, I then lost to Necrons, I then lost to... What was I playing against? What did he have? Admech, or Skitari, to be more precise. I lost to them. And then I lost again trying to do a rescue mission against Necrons. So, yeah, they are arse as far as I'm aware. They're just too flimsy. That's all I'm going to say about it. But this rulebook, from what I can tell, also has multiplayer rules. So if you want to do a multi-team skirmish, then you can do that as well, I believe.
Yeah, but the whole book is only $40. Like, and I know a lot of people are going to be like, only $40, Alexis, that's a lot. That's actually relatively cheap for how many factions and how many rules are in it.
Yeah, how much is a codex on your end?
About $50.
Well, there you go, then 25 quid on our end. That's not too bad.
No. Or you can buy the Shadow War Armageddon collection for 100 quid, which is the rulebook and a couple of bits of scenery.
Yeah, that terrain is pretty. I'll admit, that terrain
is sold out here already.
Yeah, I think it's sold out on this end as well.
Unless you go to Warhammer World, which apparently they're overflowing with this stuff.
Lucky for some.
And then what else is it? The rules for it might be given out for free.
Not heard that. Is someone fiddling with a wrapper or bubble wrap or something?
What? No.
That'll be Alexis.
Sorry.
It's
trying
fine.
to be quiet.
I wasn't sure if it was Minecraft or
Is
not.
everyone going to get like their own chocolate bars and stuff now? Or...
No, the only thing I could get is Pringles, and they're even louder.
Gosh.
Anyway, is there anything else in the news besides Shadow War? Because we've all talked about Shadow War.
That
There's
weird-
that new Contemptor Dreadnought, the furry one.
You mean
Very
the 1,000? You mean the psychic
Space
one?
Wolves.
No, the Space Wolf one.
Oh, I thought about the 1,000 Sun one that was like revealed today. That is sexy as fuck.
Stop saying that. That's creepy. I can say that. You can't. That's weird.
Funny enough, I was in the library with my physics friends today, and I said this model's really, really sexy. I was like, Michael, what are you? What? That doesn't sound like you. Yeah, I should really stop saying that. Shut up.
So, oh, I can't wait to thin my paints.
Oh,
I'm going to give
so
you.
get
I'm going to
this,
give you 2
get
thin
this.
coats.
Oh dear.
Somebody is sending me a Magnus.
A
Alright,
You-
magnet.
Lucky.
alright, so...
Wait. The demon or Primarch Magnus?
Demon. So,
Okay, forgive him.
So, I hate the Thousand Suns with a passion. I
Give
hate
it to me,
Magnus
then.
with a passion. So
Give
on
it
a
to Mike.
live stream, I said, if I get a Magnus, I'm painting his wings to be the trans flag, giving him a corset and a giant dildo. Somebody bought and is sending it to me, and I'm just like, well, shit. Guess I'm doing all of that.
It's demon form. You're allowed.
It's like, sorry guys, I lost it. Oh, Michael's got one coincidentally though.
If I got Demon Magnus, my friend who plays Chaos would probably kill me. So yeah, we've sort of made a deal. He gets Demon Magnus, I get Human Magnus, and I'm not complaining.
And I have nothing.
Poor Remleiz, you have me.
You're not helping with the shipping, Alexis. Yep, that's shut up.
In fairness, I don't think anything's going to top the Alexis Zoran the Bear Bacon fan fiction. Which I'm sure you'll remember that on Alexis's live stream. Was it a live stream or Ransom Rambles? I can't
It
remember.
was just a Ransom Rambles with
Yeah.
me reading it. It was great.
Yeah, I remember that. But yeah.
And then they did it.
God damn it. Speaking of Magnus, though, he has his resin model, which is absolutely brilliant.
And huge.
Yeah, it's like,
Dwarf Slaughter.
good.
I love that they put him next to it. The first meme I saw was proving that Logar is a little bitch.
Yes. To be honest, though, they could have made him like Magnus. Could Magnus like shape even in human form? Could he like shapeshift?
Yes.
Yeah, I thought he could. So I wasn't sure if they were...
He shapeshifted in his battle when the Space Wolves invaded Prospero. He basically went giant and started bitch slapping a whole bunch of wolves with his blade.
Yeah, that
And then
was...
Demon Rush went, come down and I'll break your fucking neck. And broke his back.
Yeah,
He
I was going to
failed.
say he failed. Actually, so that reminds me. There was a little bit of debate that I had with my comments about whether he's going to be on a dual base with Russ. Do you reckon that will be a thing or no?
No.
No. Which is a
Okay.
shame considering that how Ferris Manus and Fulgrim are on a dual base.
I mean, there's Fulgrim and Ferris. There's Abaddon and Loken. I can't think of any others.
I think they're the only dual bases. Actually, I will double check while you guys carry on talking.
Fair enough. Yeah, I'm not going to talk too much about the human Magnus model because, well, near to human as Magnus ever got model, because that's kind of part of my rant for later.
Oh, okay. So I think we should talk about the little thing that popped up.
What
Eighth
little thing?
edition,
Yeah, that. We should probably talk about
Where,
that.
like, one of the biggest things that I want to say right off the bat is in their Q&A, they said the rules are going to be free.
Yeah, it's going to be... The release style is going to be quite AOS. It's going to be a 12-page core rulebook with a bunch of, like, I think probably like a proper general's handbook for match play. And then the rules will be updated every year, which is...
Sorry to interrupt. Going back to the double bases, there is another one with double bases. That's Erebus and Corpharon.
Oh, yes, of course. Yes, of course. Erebus and Corpharon. Thank you. Good reminder. But yeah, like the whole update every year is the best thing. Like for all, love or hate the changes, that's fine. But the fact that they're going to update the rules every year, so if something's busted, it gets patched. if something's underpowered and useless, it can get patched. That, I think, is probably the best move they've made in this entire announcement.
And the free rule books.
Yeah, I mean, we don't quite know what the codex is. Like, every codex is getting redone, isn't it? So we don't know how much they're going to cost.
The codexes themselves are all being put into 5 books. Or 3 to 5 books. I can't remember the exact number, but it's going to be Imperium.
Oh, it's like
Xenos
Xenos and Chaos, isn't it?
Yeah, another one's going to be Space Marines, and then Chaos, then, yeah.
Yeah, apparently, I think I saw like Imperium, Chaos, Xenos, but the thing is, they actually asked Pete Foley does like a lot of Twitter stuff, and he was asked, are they going to be a la the Grand Alliance books from AOS? And his answer was broadly no. So don't expect to be seeing like grand overarching Imperium traits or Chaos traits.
No.
Because
they
it just
said
wouldn't
that
work.
during the live stream too. They said that all the different races are not going to be mixing and matching rules. You're not going to get Death Stars on the battlefield anymore. Which kind of sucks because I just built my Celestine Death Star.
Hey, I can still run a far side bomb. Fine, works for me.
And I can't do shit.
We don't know if you can do that anymore. Also, if you look at that galactic
if you can take
map,
back,
that
Remleiz
galactic map.
You had your video on that, didn't you, Remleiz?
I did indeed, yes. I can't just say it looks like the Cabal were fucking right.
What did the Cabal say again? Sorry.
If the Imperium won the Horus Heresy, then after around 10,000 years, Chaos will start consuming the galaxy. It's been 10,000 years, roughly.
They said exactly that.
Pretty much.
Fair play.
That's what I told Alpharis and Omegon.
Yeah, fair play.
I do want to say this right now. I love how the Tau is just completely cut off from the rest of the galaxy.
They're bug food.
They are screwed.
Okay.
Also, I've been meaning to ask you guys this. Can a Tyranid Hive fleet fly through a warp storm?
I don't think it's ever tried on record. It's not on record as having tried.
I will say this: they could probably try, but it'll.
One at a time.
They could probably try, but they'll probably go. This will probably fuck us up if we did.
Yeah, it's one of those that, like, unless absolutely necessary scenarios, and it would still probably go quite wrong.
Yeah.
But it's like
Might
one
not-
of those things. I checked every single source that I could find for that, and they've never had an encounter with a warp storm that wasn't just chaos, and then the shadow and the warp consumed it.
Fair enough.
Well, considering how much more warpy shenanigans there are these days, they may actually have to update that piece of fluff. We'll see.
They need to update a lot of fucking fluff, let's be brutally honest.
Oh god, yeah, so much fluff needs an update. Right, as far as going through these 8th edition changes, I think there's 2 ways we can handle this, and I think the best way is that we're going to try and cover every change we can quickly, as opposed to just thrashing on about 2 or 3 big things, because at the end of the day, this is a news segment as much as anything else.
Yes.
Right, here we go. So,
Here we go.
most recent update that we have is the Psychic phase, which has gone completely Age of Sigmar. So you now cast as many powers as your mastery level, and you roll 2d6. You have to beat a casting value to do something. Mortal wounds are a thing. They are automatic wounds that ignore all armor and even ignore invulnerable state, which is even more powerful than in Age of Sigmar. They're auto wounds, and every single Psychic in the game will know a Warp Charge 5 power that does D3 mortal wounds to the nearest enemy unit within 18. It's not pick your target, it's the nearest. And if you roll a 10 and plus, it's D6 instead.
Yeah,
Every
but it
cycle
only
will
hits
know
a
that.
single guy.
No, unit. It
Yeah.
says unit.
That fucking bug.
Hey.
But it's only going to deal 1 wound to each guy if you spread out the wounds evenly.
Unless they have it the closest guy dies first, like they have in... Because AOS has that, where you can spread the wounds around. No, hang on. Does AOS have that? I feel like I've seen scenarios in AOS where people just... No, in AOS it's power wounds onto one guy until they die. In 40k it's closest dies first. We'll have to see what system they adopt here, but I get the feeling closest guy dies first will stay.
Either way, I have to say, the Terminators look amazing, the Dreadnought looks amazing, all of the stupid motorcycles outside can eat it. Never mind.
They can hear,
Right. Where's the other stuff?
Now,
So
I'm interested to see how the psychic phase is going to be affected by the Shadow and the Warp, see what Tyranids are going to get from this, see what Orcs are going to get from this, because they use different types of psychic powers.
they do say that every race is going to have its own psychic bit going for it. So it says, to quote, let me find it, each faction will have its own psychic lore with a range of thematic powers. So every cycle have their own lore, and Perils of the Warp is still a thing, which is nice. And you can also try and deny the witch. That hasn't gone away. That's got a 24-inch range.
But now it's only with Psychers.
Ah.
Yeah,
Shit.
that's huge.
Shit.
You sound upset.
Yes,
So it's
I
gonna
have
be-
no psychers.
The funny thing is, I think it's going to be Psychers and people with Adamantium Will that get that.
Yeah, if Adamantium Will as a mechanic exists, then it will continue to do that, yeah. So yeah,
What are you doing, Alexis?
I am trying
Sounds like
to
bubble
rip
wrap.
up a bag, and it is annoying me, because I want to eat
Can
a
it
chip.
wait? Can it wait?
Now it
Or
can.
mute your mic.
Yeah, either mute your mic or just wait. Right, okay, moving on, because, like I said, I need to get through this at some rate of knots. Movement. Every model has its own movement stat, which is good. That makes sense. We knew that was happening. Some units have a minimum move, which mostly will apply to flyers. That kind of works as well. Although every flyer will have its own movement stat independent of that. Running is now in the movement phase, so you give up your shooting and you run in the movement phase. That's fine. That's the same as in AOS, I think. Although in AOS,
That's exactly the same as that. So
yeah, applies to all models,
I'm
including.
also hoping charging is in the movement phase.
They haven't mentioned that.
Because that's how it is in Shadow War Armageddon.
Yeah, it is. And it's how that was in fantasy as well. The problem with charging in the movement phase that I always found is that unless you set up for it, like a turn in advance, because it was shaking up your movement phase, you couldn't really pull a fast one on your opponent because you needed line of sight in the movement phase to set a charge up. You couldn't wait round a corner to hide out a fire and then dive around the corner and charge. So I think keeping it separate will work just fine.
I want it to be done during the same phase.
They might do, depends on how quick it wanted to be. It says the movement rules are pretty much what you'd expect today, so it doesn't sound like it. Although everything can run now. Vehicles and bikes and stuff can run, so potentially Turbo Boost is dead. And one last thing, if you're in combat at the start of your turn, you can fall back, so you'll lose the ability to run, shoot, or charge, and you'll be able to be shot at, but it means that you can actually get out of combat if you're in a bad place, which is nice. So I'm quite happy with those changes overall, because there's nothing more annoying than having a unit you don't want in combat stuck in combat.
Disengaging is
Indeed.
always fun.
Yep, and it really, I think the one thing I'll say, I've said it before, the narrative that they're pushing with this edition, this just makes narrative sense, and I'm really on board with it. Like that change in particular just makes sense. Like they talk about some ideas, like with the guard and being able to or being unable to tar pit as effectively anymore, which is nice.
fair enough.
Next, weapons. This was a big change. Yeah, AP has changed completely. Damage
AP
stat.
is awesome.
Bolters being AP nothing surprises me, but hey.
No, thank God they're AP nothing. I didn't like my orcs dying to fucking bolters when they can tank them in the game. In the stories.
I understand that. It's just surprising to see a weapon that's so powerful in the lore be relegated to AP nothing. I mean, the las cannon's only AP 3, so you can't one-shot Terminators with las cannons anymore. They're going to have a 5-up save. You can't, unless you... I think to ignore a Terminator save, you now need a Rend 5 weapon.
Well, there's also
gonna-
the Terminator armor, which might be 2d6 armor save.
Again,
Extremely unlikely.
Extremely likely.
Are you... Really? Really?
Well,
though? A two-
Michael, don't forget, in second edition, Terminator armor was a 3+ save on 2d6.
Yeah, but it's still a 2+ save
Also,
in this edition.
it's 2d6 on a 3+ in Shadow War.
Yeah, I'm aware. I'm aware of that. But literally, you have made what that means is a Terminator is functionally immortal against every AP nothing weapon in the game. If they're
like in the fluff.
No, like functionally immortal. You cannot physically kill them with any gun without rend. And looking at this, almost every basic weapon in the game, bolters, lasguns, pulse rifles, AP5. It looks like AP5 has become AP0.
Well, correct me if I'm wrong, Michael, but in the current meta of the game, don't people not take Terminators because apparently they're shit or something?
I know. But hang on. The stat lines that I saw, I'm sure it said Terminators have 2 wounds now.
Terminators have 2 wounds, but a lot of weapons deal D6 wounds.
Yeah, so you got a 2 wound per model unit that against anything but the most powerful weapons that not every army has access to is functionally immortal.
Yeah,
not functionally, completely immortal. So you're comfortable with a unit that can land right next to you, assuming Deep Strike remains, and is also immortal.
Yes.
You're okay with immortal units.
Yes.
Like, not even on a... It's not even like 3+ on a 2d6, where there's at least a chance they can die if you fuck it up. You are happy with a unit that is functionally immortal.
Well, they're not immortal. You throw enough dice at it, it's a 1 in 36 chance that the Terminator will die or take a wound.
A 2+ save on 2d6 cannot be failed.
Yeah, no, they don't have a 2-up save. They have a 3-up
I'm pretty sure in Shadow War they do. I'm pretty sure they have a 3-up.
They have a 3-up in Shadow War as well.
Yeah, but I'm sure in 40k they still have a 2.
Nope, it's a 3.
Yeah. No, it's a 2. I'm looking at it right now. It's on Warhammer Community. It's a 2.
Oh, that's even better.
So you're comfortable with a unit that is actually immortal, has 2 wounds per model, and is functionally immortal to all basic weapons in the game.
Yes.
That's okay with you?
The way it is in the fluff, yes.
No. No. The fact that a las cannon is rend 3 means that the chance of failing a save against a las cannon, an anti-tank gun, is going to be about 2/3. I don't know the exact odds because I haven't run the numbers in my head right now, but 1, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4. You've got a 75% chance of passing your save against a las cannon in that scenario.
Yes, but if the las cannon hits, it kills them.
You've got a 1 in 4 chance of you actually failing that save.
Well,
with
you
that
also have that in current.
No, you don't. A 1 in 4.
3-up shield.
Yeah, that's assuming you've paid for it. That's not basic.
It's a 10-point upgrade that everybody takes if you take in Terminators.
Beside the point. The
Or
point
you
I'm trying to
make a 4-up invo save with certain other Terminators and give them feel no pain. It's no different than that.
Yeah, but the point I'm trying to make is you've got a unit, and presumably any unit in Terminator armor this will apply to. So that would apply to your Calgars, your... I can't think of Terminator armor characters off the top. Your Lysanders even being literally, functionally immortal. No. Not possible. You can't have a unit that
know
cannot
weapon
die.
damage stacks and minuses stack as well, right?
But if you have nothing to stack, if you're AP 0 and you shoot at a Terminator, it cannot die.
No, they do stack. Damage will stack.
It doesn't matter if it's AP nothing. If it's AP 0,
you're going to be dealing enough wounds to it. You're going to be throwing saves at Terminators.
No, you can't make them. It can't. Alexis, please. I'm trying to make a point here that if you shoot a gun that is AP 0 at a Terminator, which is a 2+ save on 2d6, that save cannot be failed mathematically. There is no result of a 1 on 2d6.
That's not what's going to happen, though.
But that's what you just said. It doesn't matter how many bullets you shoot. It doesn't matter.
It's going to stack damage, meaning it's going to mod the save. They've already stated this.
They've said that if you shoot more guns, the damage of that, the AP of that gun goes up. Have they said that specifically?
Actually, on their Twitter and their Facebook, they said 500 guns will be able to kill a Land Raider.
Yeah, a Land Raider, because... Yeah, Land Raider's got an arse load of wounds and a 2-up save that will be on 1d6. But you're saying that a unit that cannot fail its armor save unless a weapon gets a mod to its AP by having a lot of shots, which sounds like absolute nonsense. No.
Welcome to 8th edition.
You can't have a 2d6 save on a 2-up. It can't be done. I'm sorry, functionally immortal units cannot exist.
It might not be added together either. It might be re-rollable.
A re-rollable 2-up, that's alright. 2d6...
But you do realize there are invincible units in the game currently.
No, there are units with re-roll... There are units with re-rollable 2-ups, and it will not die and feel no pain. Yes, there are units that are extremely, extremely hard to kill. Yes, but they are not immortal.
Yes, but
they
these
can
Terminators
die.
wouldn't be immortal either. A
They
5-man
would be-
unit of Terminators will be killed by a couple of las cannon shots, even with a 2-up save.
No, it wouldn't.
The
By
save
your,
would
by,
go
by,
to a 5-up save on 2d6.
on 2d...
and
yeah,
every
which one you have a
single
1 in
that
4
dies
chance.
is going to deal d3 wounds to that model and kill it.
Yeah, so you got a 1 in 4 followed by a 5 in 6 of killing it after you roll to hit. So the odds of you killing a Terminator
Actually,
with...
it's a 3-up to kill him.
Oh yeah, no, 2-up because they've got 2 wounds.
No, it's 1 and 2 equals 1, and 2 and 3... 3 and 4 equals 2.
It's
which
damaged...
kills
No,
the
I'm pretty
Terminator.
sure I saw a last cannon was damaged d6.
Oh, if it's d6, then yeah, it'll easily kill him.
Yeah, 1 in 4 times 5 in 6 times 5 in 6 times 1 in... times 2/3. I'll quickly do that calculation. 25 over 36, 50 over 108, and then a quarter of that, 50 over 400. Yeah, you're going to need about 9 las cannon shots to kill 1 Terminator by that logic.
That's easy.
9 for 1?
Yeah. Yeah, that's easy.
That's not a fair trade.
Isn't that just your standard armament in an Imperial Guard list?
Yes. That's literally two squads shooting at them. We'll get rid of them, and they'll be functionally the same points.
I just don't see a 2d6 save 2-up 2d6 2-up save unit. I just don't see it. Sorry, that got very, very... No. No. Sorry. I'm going to shut up now, because I'm just going to get angry.
Now imagine they're going to be doing that to Wraith units and battlesuits.
No, battlesuits only ever had a 3-up save, and they're made of fucking tissue paper. They won't be.
That's because in the fluff they get sliced up by a power sword.
Because AP3 is a thing.
I
Was
know,
a
but
thing.
it's really funny that Kato Sakari has destroyed an entire company of them. That story is bullcrap.
Yes, but Kato Sakaris is like the Mary Sueist to Mary Sue Ultramarine.
He is. He's like the polar opposite of what Titus is.
I mean, at least with Marnius Cowgirl, at least Cowgirl, had his arms and legs eaten by a hive tyrant.
Swarmlord, but yes. It's
Same
still a
thing.
Hive Tyrant. I can't wait for all of this stuff. Like, all the changes sound awesome to me. And I may be biased because I have 130 Terminators, but...
Yeah, like, if they make a unit so tough as to make las cannons practically redundant, like, apart from Guard, not many armies can bring that many. Anyway, moving on.
What? My normal Space Marine list brings about 12.
Okay, so you're going to need to fire that unit 4 times.
15, 30 anti-tank weapons.
That are all Rend 3. Or you expect they're all AP2.
Multi-guns, yes.
Okay, so you're going to need to get to within 12 inches of that Terminator, and then
Jackpots.
you said 30, you said?
And bikes. I
You said
get
30.
turn 1.
You said 30.
Yes.
You're going to need a turn and a half to wipe a squad out. You're going to need 2
with
turns.
Chapter Tactics 2, I get rerolls.
The hitting and wounding isn't the hard bit here. It's the 1 in 4 chance of failing a goddamn save.
Yeah, that's fine.
So you're going to need 2 turns to throw your entire army at 1 Terminator squad to kill it. And you're okay with that.
Yes, because that's the way Terminators should be.
And they said Death Stars were dead. Anyway, Flamers and Blast Envoys are gone, which is an interesting change. So Flamers are now Assault D6 weapons that automatically hit, which is good in some ways and not so good in others.
Oh my god, it's amazing for clearing up small units. Like, it is legit one of the best ways to clear up small units.
Yeah, it'll be good for killing out small units. Against big units, it actually is worse, but units with a lot of Flamers like Sisters and Burner Boys will benefit from that massively.
Well, I'm not even going to be bringing flamethrowers for the most part. They're better weapons.
If you were using
I'm interested to see what they're going to do with heavy flamers and twin-linked weapons. I'm assuming the twin-linked is still going to reroll the D6. No,
it'll either be reroll the D6 or reroll to wound. It'll be one of the two, because twin-linked flamers now reroll to wound.
My prediction for this is that heavy flamers are going to be either 2d6 minus or 1d6 plus. That way it seems a little bit fair, and they're going to have twice the range.
We shall have to see on that one. Moving forward, unit profiles. The initiative stat is no more. The initiative stat is gone. It's been replaced with the movement stat, and this means that the combat system has obviously changed. We knew this was happening. They have adopted the Age of Sigmar. I don't know if it was in 2nd edition. Somebody correct me if I'm wrong. They have adopted the Age of Sigmar You Go, I Go system, where one unit picks a unit to attack, and another unit is picked by the opponent to attack. Now, this is overruled by charging units. All charging units will attack first, and then the normal You Go, I Go order starts. You can also use the new command points, I believe, as an overrule, but they're a different thing in and of themselves, and I think we're still waiting to get all the information on command points.
To correct you in regards to 2nd edition, it was charging units always attack first in close combat, and then it is in initiative order.
So charges were initiative 10 then?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm all right with this. I play with the AOS system quite a lot, and it's good, but it's also extremely irritating if you have an army with a lot of combats going on at the same time. But the charging thing might actually be enough to make it work.
Green Tide is viable again, people. Green Tide. Also, Mega Knob's got a huge upgrade, and so did Terminators.
We've already discussed how much obscenity Terminators could be.
I miss that. Can you repeat the game, please? Sorry. I can just imagine Michael just seething of rage right now.
No, to be honest, that was far too low and snarky to be ever deserved, so I'm not going to repeat it. But yeah, the AOS system is good. The problem is, like, once you've done your first charge, let's say you're orcs for a second, and you throw your units in, you get your round of attacks in for all your units that charge, and then you get attacked back, fine. The problem is, in the next round, you're only going to... I know it's still an improvement for orcs, but if you're, let's say, I don't know, Dark Eldar, all of a sudden... only one of your units is guaranteed to get its hits in, and the other ones are just, and then one of your units is going to get massacred, and then you get to go with a unit, and it becomes very, very tactical, yes, but also very irritating.
Good. Eldar need to get put in their place. Below
but it's not. It doesn't just apply to Eldar though. It applies to
Tau
every.
as well.
We're initiative 2 anyway.
I know.
But like, okay, another example then maybe would be Tyrannid. Tyranids. Now, all of a sudden, your Gaunts might have to wait their turn and get massacred by that anti-infantry combat unit.
Whatever.
And then, because you need your warriors to attack, but you need that other unit there, so you have to use your Hormagaunts to attack, which means that your warriors get killed. And you've also got to think about your Hive Tyrant, and you've also got to think about your Lictor, and you've also got to think about your Gene Stealers. It can get quite difficult.
One unit that I bring.
Yeah, that's you and the competitive meta. I'm trying to think of everybody here.
That's great. I'm like, wait, I don't use gods except for summoning purposes and the 30 troop tax. Lictors, I have thought about them, but I don't like the Lictor shame list. And then like
Lictor shame list?
Yeah.
Bear in mind though that everything's changing, so it may well be that they become staples. I'm just throwing out hypothetical units here, just to try and.
It's going to be amazing now. Bounding leap, running directly into battle, and just killing anything that they touch? Yes, please.
I mean, they were already faster than everything in the game anyway, pretty much.
Hormagaunts?
Yeah, they're fast.
They're initiative 5.
Yeah.
4.
Not,
what is their
I'm pretty sure it's 5. Not much in this game is initiative 5, Alexis.
Eldar.
Besides that, we know what Eldar were like.
I hope they get the biggest stick shoved up their ass. I hated them.
You also obviously know that vehicles are now on monster stats, so they've got wounds and saves. Yes, thank you. And leadership stats. because it looks like vehicle squadrons and stuff will be affected by morale. Because I believe they're also using the AOS battle shock system based on your casualties minus your leadership, and that makes you run away. So that's got to be factored in.
That was a 4th edition rule, so that's whatever.
Vehicles having leadership wasn't a 4th edition rule.
It was. You could affect
only...
a vehicle's leadership. They always counted as leadership 10.
Just that Grots had their Grot cowardice, so I assume vehicles had no leadership back then. Okay, never mind.
No, Grot cowardice is a new rule.
It's not that new. It was in the 4th Ed Codex, I'm pretty sure.
I never used them, though. I want to use them. Now Killicans are actually good. Penitent engines are amazing. I can't wait to see these things.
I don't want to call anything amazing or broken at this point. I mean, yeah, I know I had a rant about Terminators 10 minutes ago, but I don't want to call anything broken because we don't know how the game's going to shake out yet. And until we've played it, we won't know.
Hi, Remleiz.
Hello.
Sorry. All right, I'm going to go on to the Galaxy map now because Remleiz can talk about this. So people have probably seen it by now. What's the... I can see the Maelstrom. Is that big warp storm in the middle just...
That's the galactic core.
Oh, that's the black hole at the center of the Milky Way. Of course it is. Sorry.
Which is now a massive warp tear.
Oh, even better.
Now, we don't know if that's actually a warp tear being caused or if it's just warp energy being drawn into the gravity well, in fairness.
I mean, warp doesn't really do physics, so could be either.
There's a few potential possibilities of what that might be. It could be a representation of a new god being born, like when the Eye of Terror was created by Slanesh being born. So it could be the result. Could be that, or it could be the Emperor Ascendant, as some people like to think.
Yeah, we didn't really get any evidence pointing at that, though, during Gathering Storm, and I think they'd have wanted to at least hint at it if they were going to make that a thing.
We didn't really have anything in regards to the Cicatrix Maledictum either during the Gathering Storm.
Is that this big, basically...
A massive crack going across the galaxy.
Oh, I was going to call it the Galactic Wall because you don't really get across it.
It was in a paragraph.
That no one read.
I did.
All we know is that the galaxy is essentially split in half.
Yeah, unless you want to go round the back of the eye into the Calixis sector, you're not really getting anywhere.
Yeah, continue. You got quite a few Orc empires around there.
Yeah, you've got Orc empires to the northwest, or you could go round the other way across the eastern fringe through Macragge. That's still a stable route. And it looks like the regions near to Fenris and... Actually, hang on. What was this about the tower boxed in? They're not. They're on the other side of... They're on the Macragge side of the storm. They're not bug food at all. If anything, they're...
That's where the Tyranids are coming in.
This is why you're arguing about can a Hive Fleet get through a warp storm, isn't it?
Yes.
But the point is, what I'm saying is that they're not cut off from the rest of the galaxy.
Can I just ask one question about this new galactic map?
Yeah.
You know, you got how you got Baal, Blood Angel's World, Fenris, The Rock, etc. Why the hell is Rin's World on there? That's Crimson Fist. Why the hell are the Crimson Fists on the fucking map?
Also, why aren't the White Scars?
Also, why is Cadia?
Well, the
That's just the remains of Cadia.
Is still there. The only planet that fell in that sector was Cadia.
Well, Cadia's on the map.
But my point is, there's no Inwit or anything like that for the Imperial Fist. Rin's World is a Crimson. Rin's World is the only second founding chapter whose homeworld's listed on this map.
Correct, and there are not even all the first founding chapters are on there.
No.
But they did.
It just strikes me as weird.
During their Q&A, that there were some oversights on that map.
I mean, I can understand why Fenris is there. I can understand why Baal... Not just because of who they are, but because they've been involved quite recently. Like, Baal was nearly invaded. Fenris was invaded.
What the fuck did Rin's World do then?
I don't know.
Or even Nocturne. Nocturne hasn't done nothing, has it?
Nocturne has been invaded twice. The Death Guard invaded it in the Heresy, and the Iron Warriors invaded it.
Recently.
I'll just check how recently the invasion of Nocturne was. 716 M41. Not that long ago.
Where that giant black hole is where Tyranids are coming in from the bottom.
Which, you mean the one in the middle?
Yeah. That was also my other question about can Tyranids
Wait,
make
what?
it through that. Tyranids, if you look at the galactic map, the older one,
Yeah.
they come in from the Ultramar segmentum, the top, and the bottom, and then there's a flip map with them coming in from the bottom up. And right where
Sort of like
warp-
if you turn the map like 90 degrees so that you're looking at it side on.
Yeah, you can see Tyranids are coming up through the galaxy. But where that tear is exactly where the Tyranids would have made their presence. So I still stand with my reason that Chaos was like, no, these guys are more afraid of the Tyranids. Get those guys out of here. We're important.
I thought the Nids were heading towards Terra just because of the Astronomicon. Because they were attracted by the Pharaoh speak, and then they saw, oh, Astronomicon, that's even brighter. Let's go to that. And
never mind the fact that even before there was a warp hole there, you're trying to fly through a singularity doesn't really work because physics. Sorry.
Yeah, they're going to have to bypass.
They don't use physics.
If you fly through space, you obey the laws of physics, and fuck you if you don't.
Yeah, they're giant flying space bugs. They're not demons. They obey the laws of physics.
Actually, can I just have a quick point about the laws of physics?
Or anything.
And anyway, but the point I want to make is like in the eye, there's a black hole in the eye, and the Iron Warriors went into that and ended up on Tanith. What the fuck? Just saying.
Black holes don't work that way.
Well,
no,
black holes are hyper-condensed molecules that pull in things.
They're points of theoretical infinite density with a gravitational field so strong that once you get across the event horizon, astrophysics, thank you for that.
Yeah, it's
unless that black hole was filled with warp energy and they just passed through a warp tear.
It's more than likely what it was. Is there anything else?
The speed with some other bullshit technology that the Imperium.
How are you going to use?
You can't use speed. You can't use speed. You just can't.
The gravitational pull of a black hole is so strong that it even sucks light.
Yeah, nothing can get to light.
That's theoretical. We don't know that.
No. If light could escape an event horizon, we would be able to see a black hole properly, but we can't. Therefore, light cannot escape the event horizon.
Speaking of event horizon, who's seen that film?
I haven't.
A lot of people say it's a 40k prequel because a ship goes through hell.
Sure.
It's more entertaining if you watch that film and think of it as a 40k prequel set during like the Great Expansion. But otherwise, it's very silly in places.
I'm sure it is. Just quickly before I think this is like the last bit of news I think needs to be properly wrapped up, is about reserves and game length. So in matched play, which is going to be the competitive bit, there are going to be a few extra rules, mostly to do with things like deploying reserves, summoning or generating reinforcements, psychic powers, and limiting how often you use stratagems, which I think are the command point WD. And it also has recommendations for event organisers, things like how much time certain sizes of game will take and what size of board they should be played on. For example, a game of 1 to 2k points takes just over 2 hours on a 6x4 board.
Yeah, that's about average.
Is it?
Yes. The average tournament game time is 2 hours per game.
Sometimes
they cut it back to an hour and a half.
And they get through all 5 to 7 turns?
No one ever does.
Well, this is implying that it will.
They implied that it will during 5th edition as well. And 6th edition. And 7th. I mean, with a more simplistic game style, they probably can get through those. I mean, I can do an 1850 game in 30 minutes.
If you choose your army a certain way.
No, if my opponent knows the rules and I know the rules and we just play to have fun.
The movement phase could take half an hour in some cases.
I've never had that problem.
Well, maybe not the movement phase, but a turn can take half an hour if you've got a lot of units. Trust me.
Well, even if you don't. I play Green Tide. It doesn't. And that's a car going by really, really loudly. I'm sorry.
Not your fault. So yeah, that is the news up to today, the 28th of April. There will be plenty more over the next few days that I'm sure we may or may not get time to talk about next time.
Indeed.
And surprisingly, we got through that at quite a rate of knots. I'm impressed.
Is it time for the questions?
Yes, I think it is. Unless anyone has anything to add.
Nope.
Okay then.
Okay, question. Whatever happened to the last samurai guy in the Horus Heresy? You know, the one who served Malkador. I have no idea.
Which guy?
He was some samurai bloke who was tasked with hunting a lunar wolf legionnaire. I have no idea what the bloody hell happened to him.
I've never heard of him.
He was in the audio drama Wolf Hunt, I know that.
Yeah, fair enough.
Are Tyranids edible?
Yes.
No.
I suppose it depends which one you have, really.
Even the crew can't eat them.
No, the crew couldn't eat them at first. The
No, the crew-
Tyranids adapted
the crew
them
can't
and
eat
made them poisonous. And then when the crew ate them, they died.
Well, the crews are not allowed to eat Tyranids because it went horribly wrong.
Hashtag free
No,
the crew.
that's just Tower Oppression's
No,
theory.
that's
how
the
strong
Crew's
they'll
rules.
get.
Nope.
The
nope,
crew
nope. There it is.
rules.
Tower oppression over the crew.
No, the Shapers decide. The only thing the Tau impose on what the crew can't eat is Tau themselves. That's it. Everything else is up to the Shapers.
Hashtag free
Okay.
the crew.
I'm glad that they haven't invented the idea of putting your hand through a screen to see what's on the other side of it, because I would slap you for that.
I'm just sitting here naked.
Kinky.
Not helping.
Anyway, moving on. Why does everyone criticize Lehman Russ and the Space Wolves for viewing the demons of Fenris as spirits, but never the White Scars and their Stormseers? And why aren't there any Space Wolves doing what the Orcs usually do, believing?
Because the White Scars don't follow the same belief system at all.
Well, the White Scars are also incredibly dumb. I'm looking at you, Tracer. That's just an inside joke, sorry.
That's a commenter, I know who that is.
Why is Lorgar such a bitch?
Oh,
Because
don't
he's just
stop.
a little bitch. Even GW knows he's a little bitch.
Poor story arc, non-interesting model, not sympathetic character, doesn't really do anything of note for 10,000 years, doesn't look that interesting as a demon. Need I go on?
Can a Blood Angel grow wings?
No.
I think they're probably referencing that one story with that little civil war the Blood Angels had with that false sanguineous returning bloke who was just a pawn of Fabius Biles.
That was the Ancient Inquisitor as opposed to Bile.
Was it Bile that one?
Sanguinius.
Okay.
Bile was involved in the second half of that series.
Yes.
The false
My bad.
Sanguinius was his Ancient Inquisitor, so I assume that was just a mutation from Zinch and not actually growing wings.
I mean, you never know what going through the warp can do to you.
See Sanguinius. Actually, did anyone ever decide?
I
Actually,
was wondering that. If that was purposely designed by the Emperor.
Yeah, was that genetically done, warp done, or the radiation of Baal?
Because no, like, this is a legit question. Because I have a feeling the Emperor set up the Imperial religion knowing full well that it would take power away from the Chaos Gods. And
Except he didn't set up the Imperial religion, let's just point that out. He didn't.
It was Lorgar set up, the little bitch.
Thank you.
Well, yeah, but it's very simply to say that he just used mind control on the little fucker. And then Malkador setting up the Grey Knights kind of helped support it a little bit. But anywho, why didn't he just remove Sanguinius's wings? It was a mutation.
Probably for the same reason he couldn't undo the butcher's nails. Instead of being technological, it was biological. To do it would have killed him.
I could have just cut him off. Just magicked it back together.
That's not
Probably for the same
happening.
reason he didn't remove, the metal sticky stuff from Ferrus Manus' hands.
Because he couldn't.
But then again, according to Masters of Mankind, he didn't give a shit about the Primarchs at all.
It's like, oh, he's got wings. Can he fly? Yeah, I suppose it could be useful. Alright, leave it then. See how he does.
Because his whole option with Angron was I could just kill him, or I could just leave him. I know he's gonna betray me. Whatever.
Are there any Space Marine chapters who have sworn allegiance to the Mechanicus?
No, actually. There's a lot of chapters with close ties to the Mechanicus, like the Iron Hands, but I don't believe there are any chapters who are indentured to the Mechanicus.
Like the Crudar to the Tau.
Except the no, the Kroot are mercenaries. They work with other races all the time. Under the Tau's nose and behind their back, I'll have you know.
Yeah, because you can't do that in front of Master. Anyway.
Oh, how do you find a demon's true name? Sometimes by torturing it, sometimes it's written on a scroll somewhere.
Or sometimes it's written across their sword because they're fucking retarded.
Yeah.
Or you're a Grey Knight and you just spout random names that you've learned until one works.
Bob, Steve, Derek, Tiny Tim, that worked. Okay.
Got him.
That being said, when Dracnian was first created, all he did was just scream Dracnian over and over again.
Yeah, is Dracnian is a demon, isn't it?
Yes.
I thought so. Just double checking.
Older than Khorne.
Yeah, forget how that works.
The gods have always existed, it's just that they didn't always awaken first, that's all. They've always been there.
The story makes mention of the first 3 Chaos Gods coming into existence during specific ages of man. Did humanity give birth to them? And if so, why aren't their souls forfeit to them, like when the Eldar die and their souls are forfeited to Slaanesh?
They kinda are.
Protects.
I mean, to be fair though, if you're a warrior and you die, you're going to the Blood God's domain. If you're murdered in your sleep, you're going to the Blood God's domain. End of the discussion.
The Emperor protects. If you die in front of a Tyranid, the Tyranid just consumes your soul.
Well, if it's a Doom of Malantine, it certainly does.
Well, if it's any Zoanthrope now.
Yeah, Neurothropes can do it, yeah.
Because their power is described as lightning that, sucks out your soul. Zap.
Which heavy metal bands would each of the known Primarchs listen to?
Don't know enough about heavy metal. You guys can answer this.
I don't know enough about the Primarchs. That sucks.
Alright, well, describe a heavy metal band, and I know the Primarchs pretty well.
Well, I imagine Comrade Kurz will just listen to some Norwegian black metal.
It's true.
Ferris Mass will probably listen to some industrial metal band.
Probably.
Morgar would be listening to Testament.
My boo would be listening to Disturbed. Garrow.
Magnus will be listening to Nile.
Even though Garrow's not a Primarch, I'm putting him up there as listening to Disturbed.
Oh, I assumed you meant Fulgrim. Never mind.
Magnus would listen to Nile, without doubt. Angron will probably be listening to Bolt Thrower. Or Cannibal Corpse. Rabute Gilliman would actually be listening to Triari. You know, the band that does If the Emperor Had a Text-to-Speech Device theme song. He listens to that.
It's gothic enough, it works.
Moving on. Next question.
Do Soulstones only work for Eldar?
There's been no confirmed case of there being a human Soulstone, but then again, the Eldar had to fashion them, so I doubt they'd ever want to try.
It would be kind of neat if they did figure out how the Imperium figured out how to use Soulstones.
The problem is, I think you need a pretty powerful, soul to make it work, and I'm not sure if human souls are quite powerful enough, considering that Slaanesh eats the Eldar souls, not just because they created her, it, him, whatever, but because they were the most powerful and most delicious. So,
yeah, but could you imagine, if the Imperium figured out how to use Soulstones, instead of sacrificing 100 psychers a day, I just pop a Soulstone in there and just be like, alright, this'll work for a week.
Not really, because Soulstone's only just one soul.
Yeah, you still need 100 a day. That's not how it works.
Does the shadow in the warp affect War energy? And if not, why?
War energy isn't technically psychic. It is psychic, but it's not.
It's not warp-based.
It's not warp-based. It's completely different. So I'd say it shouldn't. And as far as I'm aware, there's been no confirmed case of it doing so.
There's no real good explanation of orcs v Tyranids. It's always seen from a third-person perspective. Well, I get the reason why, but I would like a thorough war between the two to explain both of their powers a little bit more.
Agreed.
With all the chaos and anarchy the Chaos Gods are causing, isn't that going to bring the rise of Malal?
He doesn't exist. Shut up about it.
Well, that being said, you know that there's that Warhammer 40,000 Legends collection, that subscription service where you get 2 novels a month?
Oh, yeah.
The next issue coming out is going to be the Heroes of the Space Marines anthology, which actually, one of the stories in it is Labyrinth, which details the Sons of Malice summoning Malice.
To be fair, he doesn't exist. About it is a running joke from a live stream. So
if they're republishing that story, that technically means Malice is canon because they're republishing it in 2017. It's canon.
Yeah, it was
There
a running
also
joke
that
between
book in,
me and my stream. So
2016 that talked about him.
Yep.
what's that? Okay.
The giant rogue trader book talked about him,
Fair.
which just has one of my favorite passages ever in it. It's like, and a lot of chapters from this era died off, and then it just shows a picture of a Sister of Purification. And it's like, haha, they did exist, and now they're dead.
Question for Alexis.
Yay!
During one of your statements, you said that humans can't use orc technology when it's not being held by an orc. However,
Correct.
during the novel Death World, a squad of Catachan looted some shooters from dead orcs. Have the lore in the novel been deemed as retconned?
Both yes and no. We don't know if those shooters themselves were looted off of another race. AKA, it could have been a stub gun that the Imperial Guard knew how to use with some orky bits on it. But the actual shooter in the Beast Arises series only ever functioned, and this was created strictly by an orc, only ever functioned when the orc's dead hand was on it because of his psychic powers.
And if you go back through a couple of old codices for the orcs, they will say quite often that captured orc weaponry will not work in the hands of Imperials. It just won't. They cannot understand how it works, but in the hands of an orc, it just works.
Now, that being said, Ludaboys often steal and don't repurpose certain weaponry, i.e. the Dark Reaper's lance, or stub guns, or bolters. So, if they designed that weapon to look like an orc shooter, but it was still that base weapon, the Imperial Guardsmen could run up, pick it up, and use it.
Why
Yeah.
don't the Sons of Malice go on a crusade in order to spread Malice's influence? Probably because it's very hard to go on a crusade when there's only a couple of hundred of you.
You can't really crusade with only 100.
Yeah.
With Papa Smurf in charge, would he ban the teachings of the Lectitio Divinitatis? If so, what would become of the Ecclesiarchy, Sisters of Battle, and the Chaplains?
You see, I wish they had just addressed this in Gathering Storm 3, and they didn't.
They did. Gathering Storm Book 3, they talk about... Gilliman does talk about what he wants to do with the Sisterhood. He says disbanding them is a no-go. They're too powerful. He basically is just going to let them be and use them.
Essentially...
There's a difference between letting the sisters be and letting the whole ecclesiarchy, which founded on a book written by Lorgar, be.
In fairness, in regards to the whole ecclesiarchy, I think Gilliman realizes at this point in time, he's smart enough to know that what humanity needs is hope, and seeing that the Emperor is being revered as a god and a symbol of hope for humanity, he doesn't want to take away one of the last hopes humanity has. He's just going to leave it for now until things potentially calm the fuck down.
Yeah, actually, I think during I think it's called the Terran Crusade, when they were going back, he actually said very annoyedly something like something to do with the God Emperor, or that the Emperor protects. He didn't want to say it, but he said it just for everybody else's benefit, I believe.
Yeah. Why are Korn and Kane in the gym doing squats?
Is Kane even alive?
Next question, question.
Technically, he's just a whole bunch of tiny midgets at the moment. A very strange question. What would happen if the Sisters of Silence somehow captured Magnus and sacrificed him to the Emperor?
Huh.
What?
I mean, they could potentially force him back into his human form somehow through bullshit.
No,
And
that's not how it works.
And force him into one of the tubes and sacrifice him.
That's not how it works.
If Gathering Storm has taught me anything, it's these writers can make up whatever the hell they want, when they want, and do however they want.
You can't change somebody back from being a demon. That's not how it works. We had this discussion last time, I'm sure we did.
But bullshit reasons from Gathering Storm says otherwise. Also, Magnus is currently trapped anyway. They could just... But I personally think Jagatai Khan is going to free Magnus.
On what grounds?
They're both in the webway. Jagatai Khan has probably mapped it out by now.
And why would he free Magnus?
Because it's his brother. He will have a
They were on
stern
they were on
talking
opposite.
to.
They were on opposite sides, and Magnus is now a 25-foot tall giant red bird horn nipple head man.
Yeah, I can see him releasing him.
I can't. But anyway.
Who would win in a Comoran gladiatorial pit fight? Lilith Hesprax or Saint Celestine? Neither would have armor, warp influence, ranged weapons, only a single dagger, and their martial prowess and skill.
Lilith.
Yeah, Lilith.
Lilith never loses. In a straight fight, with no bullshit, Lilith never loses.
I would even have to give that one to Lilith. I mean, Celestine is powerful, but it's only because of her connection to the warp that's why she's so powerful.
Yep, no bullshit, Lilith wins. And to be fair, actually, even without warp influence, stat for stat, without armor, Lilith would kick Celestine's ass every day of the week, and Celestine would just have to keep reviving.
I don't know. Her two little girls would help. She's got, 4 attacks? She could disengage, re-engage when she wants, get the bonuses. Hexberg's is only strength toughness 3, wounds on a 2. I'd say it's almost an even fight.
Who amongst you is the biggest weeb?
Alexis.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Have any of you played Factorio, aka Forge World Simulator?
No.
I want to. I think I have it in my Steam library.
You have everything in your Steam library.
There's only 300 games in there.
If the Mechanicus makes all of the Imperians vehicles and spacesuits, why the fuck don't they have their own Mechanicus Space Marines?
Because there's no STC for that.
Space Marines are built differently.
Yeah.
Although, I guess they could potentially build... No, because they have the Castellans, and the Castellans are better than the Space Marines.
They have their battle automata, which are their heavy infantry equivalent. Recreating the Astartes, I'm assuming the Emperor laid down the law on that one.
Hey guys, can the Tau have Space Marines?
Only if Gilliman joins the Tau. Anyway, do you think that the Sisters of Battle will have better ways of getting into combat with enemy armies soon, such as Starship hot drops and the like? Well, funny enough, in the fluff, they actually have their own pattern of drop pods, yet they don't actually have them in the rules, I don't think.
And it actually bugs me because, yes, they do. They have they're basically drop pods with better retro thrusters.
The Dominican pattern drop pods.
Yeah. There's also the Repressors and several other vehicles that they're known to have in the fluff. They also have their own pattern of semi-Land Raider-ish looking vehicles that they never got. There's a whole bunch of things that the Sisters of Battle have in the fluff that they don't actually have, including an entire knight household, several aircraft, and
the reason they don't
crushing equipment.
The reason the knights aren't going to be, it may end up in the System Battle Codex, but the reason the knights won't be there is simply because the knights are their own separate faction.
Oh yeah, that I fully understand, but it's one of those things. It's like they have all of this shit, they just don't use it. They also have access to all the assassins, as long as there's an Inquisitor that is high enough to actually get an assassin to join them.
So they don't have access to the assassins.
Well, they do.
No. They have the same access as everybody else when the Inquisition says so.
They're Order Hereticus. They are higher up than a lot of other things.
When the Inquisition... It's still on an Inquisitor's order, not on
it's not like
not
a
on the
guardsman is
Canoness.
going to have them.
No, but a Canoness can't either. It's an Inquisitor or bust in both cases.
High Canoness, maybe.
Have there ever been...
Nope, go on. Let's move on.
Have there ever been Tau worlds that have been infiltrated by Gene Stealers?
Yes.
If you look in the Gene Stealer Cult Codex, there's artwork of a Gene Stealer Cult uprising on a Tau world.
Yes, it's a thing.
Yeah. What keeps Gretchen from growing to be as big as an orc or a war boss other than death? Have any survived long enough to see this potential?
Macquarie the Grot lived to the age of 9.
Then he got sat on.
He got sat on and fed to a Squiggoth. So it's a biology thing.
In all fairness, it's probably to do with Y energy as well, which also influences how the orcs grow.
I believe that. I think there is actually an argument for that. That what environment the spore grows up in can influence what it grows up to be.
Yeah.
Yeah. because
but I don't think you go through you don't go from Snotling to Grot to Orc. It doesn't work like that.
No, the different species.
It's either a beastie, a grot, a snotling, or a boy.
I just want to find it because going to Warhammer Fantasy for a minute, because obviously the grots and goblins are the same bloody thing. Let's be brutally honest here.
Yeah.
And you've had Grom the Paunch, who's a goblin who got so fat that he ended up getting quite powerful because orcs were started to follow him because he was so big.
Yeah, and then Eltharion fucked him over. Haha.
Yeah. So if you had a grot who got somehow really fat, then maybe some small orcs would be like, looks pretty big. Yeah, he's pretty big. Yeah, it's pretty big.
The way I sort of see the way orc biology works is that the spores are kind of like stem cells in that they can be anything when they're first released, but then they just adapt into a certain thing based on their surroundings or the needs of what's around them.
Or the influence of the raw energy in the field.
Influence of what's around them.
Yep.
Yeah. Could orcs ever work together with humans for a common goal? Well, freebooters tend to be used as mercenaries. So
Blood Axe is the same.
Yeah, Blood Axe clan is particularly notable for this.
It's not really towards common goals. It's more so the orcs can get more shiny things to beat the humans with.
Yeah, common goals.
I don't think the Imperium's goal is let's work with these orcs so we can give them more shit to kill us with. I don't think that's quite the human logic there.
No,
humans are idiots, but they're not that dumb.
Some unscrupulous planetary governments be like, you know what? Yeah, we're going to give them better weapons. Yeah, they're probably going to cause hassle later on in the future, but I'm going to get rid of my neighbour Dave, who I hate.
Still slightly different goal. But, yeah.
Hashtag fuck Dave.
If Alexis, Michael, and Remleiz were locked in a small room together, who would get eaten first?
Michael.
Yeah, probably.
I'm mostly mechanical, so I can't really get eaten.
Yeah, and I might be a rugby player, but I'm not that strong or agile.
What is your favourite Warhammer Fantasy faction and why?
In Old Fluff, probably High Elves, although I've kind of come to appreciate some of the aspects of the Dark Elves in more recent times.
Pansy. It's Lizardmen or bust. Come on, Aztec dinosaurs. Enough said.
Lizardmen are cool. I never really got behind their overarching fluff as well as their aesthetic. The fluff behind particularly the High Elves of Calador and Inarian and Malekith and all of that, particularly up to end times before Malekith came back, it was actually really quite gripping. Like Alathanar, Eltharion, Caradrian, the Phoenix Kings.
One thing that I never got is that, Malekith, you've been burnt and rejected by the flame, so you're the true Phoenix King. The fuck?
It wasn't that ASEAN. I think they retconned that to be that ASEAN wasn't rejecting him. He was putting him through another test to see if he was truly up to it, and Malekith chickened out. I believe they retconned that in End Times 3.
Why won't Games Workshop update any of my armies? Well, there will be with 8th edition.
Yep. So stop complaining. Unless you're a fantasy player, in which case I feel for you.
What is the Eye of Night and the Hand of Darkness used for? Gilliman wants them and sends Greyfax to get the Eye of Night from a destroyed world where Inquisitor Horst is studying it. What are these shiny things and will make them truck go faster?
I genuinely don't know what those artifacts are.
I'm still reading the Greyfax books. Well, listening to the audio dramas. And by that I mean, I'm still waiting to read them. Listen to them.
Was the reason for the Webway project was to get Eldar hookers?
Yes.
No. May have been a side goal, but it wasn't the overarching plan.
It depends if you're looking at the canon universe or the TTS universe.
Also that.
What would happen? What would happen if the crew of the Red Dwarf found themselves stuck in the 40k universe?
Problems.
Yeah, but we get that awesome theme song though.
Never actually watched Red Dwarf. It was before my time.
What do you mean before your time? They're still going.
Is it?
Yeah.
I have no idea what you guys are talking about.
Shame.
It's a British sci-fi comedy, I believe. I know a couple of the actors who are in it, but it always just seemed like really corny and cliche. I never really got into it when I was younger, so I don't no reason to start now. And yeah, Remleiz now wants to kill me.
In all fairness, I'd watch.
Yeah, sure.
I'd revive you.
You're not Saint Celestine.
No, I'm a demon of Slaanesh. You'll be revived. You won't like it.
Sounds unneedlessly kinky. Anyway, moving on.
Yes,
If
please.
Magnus somehow got an empty metal body made for a Catan possessed and took on his demon form, who would win?
So you're basically saying human Magnus in a Catan body versus demon Magnus.
Yeah.
Basically, how fractured is the soul shard that ends up in the Catan? And how powerful is it relative to the Crimson King, or whatever the official name of demon Magnus is?
Let's say, for assumption, it's as powerful as a fully restored Catan.
Okay,
Okay,
Transcendent Catan at full stack versus demon Magnus. I want human Magnus to win because I want good guy Magnus back, but I can't. Demons versus Catan never really ended well for the Catan.
Would it be possible to put an Eldar soul into a Necron body?
I've wondered that one myself.
Well, considering they can turn human blanks into the pariahs, or used to be able to, I don't see the reason why not.
Yeah, I mean, biotransference is possible for any race. It wouldn't exactly look the same or maybe function the same, but it would still be a thing. Oh, actually, no, wait. The Necrons are soulless.
Oh, yeah, that's the point.
That's the reason the Eldar hate them so much. They're soulless. So their body could be reforged and repurposed, absolutely, but the soul would still be lost. So technically, no.
How the hell do you find Perturabo and the Iron Warriors boring?
Oh, this is straight at me.
Of course it is.
Yeah, well, this is coming very recently from my lore video on them. I don't find them boring per se. It's just that during the entire Great Crusade and Horus Heresy, they had one job and they did it. And nothing else. Even without being asked, they never varied their tactics. Even when Perturabo came, they barely varied their tactics. And during the Horus Heresy, their combat record in the Heresy was a catalogue of cock-ups. I know, I'm not going to say they're boring, but they're not.
Wasn't pretty much the only notable things in regards to the Iron Warriors was they bombed the fuck out of Talon, and then
lost.
And then they ended up allying with the Black Templars during the War of the Beast.
Oh, and they also had the only known case of a traitor defecting back to the Loyalist side was an Iron Warrior.
Well, there you go. What Iron Warrior was that?
Marek Drager in the Mazoan campaign in the Coronid Deeps, converted by Cassian Dracos of the Salamanders against Ortolan's score of the Alpha Legion, who would fuck them over on Epsilon Stranavar 9.
A catalog of cuck-ups.
Cock-ups.
Can Lehman Rush slip on a banana peel?
Oh my god, that's awesome.
Next question.
Question from Michael.
Oh god.
Do you have any recommendations for books or stories for the Tau?
Honestly, I haven't actually read that many. A lot of my knowledge has come from the Codex, the Farsight Supplement. There is a book, like a short story collection based around the Tau. I have got it, and I've been meaning to read it for the best part of a year, but I've just been too damn busy. Apparently, that's got a dedicated Farsight story that might be related to the Brightsword eugenics program. I don't know, but there's a bunch of short stories in there. Beyond that, I've read Damocles, which has a little bit of insight into Shadow's Son. And I think that's it. And I've read Firecast, but I don't remember how that one goes.
What would happen if Doom Rider and Wazdaka Gutsmech drove into each other at top speed? Probably a massive explosion.
Well, it depends. Doom Rider's bike isn't really got... If it's a demon bike, it's not really got fuel, so I don't know if it could explode.
No, but Wazdaka certainly would.
It would explode.
Yes, okay, big-ass explosion, leave it.
Is there a deity associated with friendship?
Nurgle. Sort of.
Sort of.
I mean, I'm friendly.
Also Slanesh, sort of.
Yeah, come on. We're friendly.
Very much sort of.
Come on, we're friendly. Just come into this dark alley and open your mouth.
Oh, God. Have any of you read Dead Men Walking by Steve Lyons? And if so, would you agree it's the most grimdark book that ever grimdarked? I've not read it.
Not read it.
I personally think 13 Hour was better than it.
There you go.
Fair enough.
As it looks like the Death Guard is going to come out exactly 1 year after the Thousand Suns, do you think the new business model for Games Workshop will be to release a new Traitor Legion each year moving forward? I.e. Thousand Suns 2016, Death Guard 2017, Emperor's Children 2018, etc.?
Not yearly. I think they're going to do them every 3 months.
Yeah, I think they've maybe just held off on Death Guard to get Gathering Storm done, and then get 8th edition done. So I think we might not. To be fair, though, there wasn't really much for World Eaters in Traitor's Hate. But yeah, I could see all the Traitor Legions getting redone eventually. Actually, that reminds me, the box game for 8th edition. There's been discussion of what's going to be in it. Like, it's pretty obvious it's going to be Death Guard, but who are the Loyalists going to be?
Ultramarines. There's Ultramarines. Look at that artwork. The Space Mariners got a laurel wreath, which is a very Romanesque / Greek thing.
It's standard Codex Denotion.
Not for every chapter though.
For every
it's more. They're not going to put a lesser chapter in behind, a more well-known first or second founding chapter.
Yeah, it'll be a first or second founding, but
it's not Sisters of Battle.
Nope, I'm going with Sisters of Battle.
It ain't Sisters of Battle.
It'll be first or second founding, yes. It doesn't necessarily have to be Ultramarines, though.
It could be.
Brides of the Emperor. Got it.
But bear in mind as well that Ultramarines, also kind of like, they had their Primarch come back. It's probably going to be the Ultramarine 6. We've got our Primarch, therefore we're the best because Matt fucking Ward.
Oh, with Mortarion on his way back, that could well be a thing.
Indeed.
Primarch
Although to be fair, the biggest rivals the Death Guard had were actually, as far as I'm aware, the Salamanders. Or the White Scars, because they fought them both quite a lot.
How likely is it for a Renegade Space Marine chapter to defect to the Tau Empire or a Farsight Enclave and have something like a mercenary contract with them? And would the Tau want them?
Never happened. Tau don't really understand chaos, so...
it's not chaos. Renegades. There's a difference.
Oh, just the general defection, right?
Like a Black Shield, for example.
Never happened. Probably could.
I see no reason why. If you had like a Black Shield who just leaves his chapter and defects and just lives out as a mercenary,
Yeah, there's no reason why
to the Tau. And let's be honest, Tau seeing a good 8 or 9 foot tall super soldier, heavily equipped with hundreds of years of battle experience. Yeah, I'd hire him.
I mean, the Tau have a huge amount of respect for the Space Marines. The problem is, I don't think it would be quite as cut and dry and mercantile as that. I get the feeling it would be more like, if you want to work with us, then we want your armor for study, and we want to know how your genetics work. Not because we want to reproduce it. Different story. They don't really like how power armor is too damn heavy.
So we can kill you better.
Yeah, basically. It would be a case of you wouldn't be defecting as a merc, you'd be defecting as a traitor at that point.
Yeah. Why does nobody care about the Iron Hands?
I like the Iron Hands. They're just not the most memorable of all the chapters in the universe.
They're the Inquisitor, they're the Grandmaster Voldus of the Space Marine chapters. They're just there.
Yeah, they're just there. They're cool if you look into them, but they're just there.
How did the Imperium deal with asteroids? They have planetary defense lasers to shoot them.
Yeah, big scary guns.
That's basically what happened to the planet Valhalla. There was some asteroid so big and it was made of solid iron that their planetary defense laser did fuck all. The asteroid slammed into the planet and knocked it out of its solar system.
I thought it was just out of orbit, not out of its solar system.
It knocked it out of the solar system.
It hit it that fucking hard.
And then the planet, because it was so far away from the sun, the entire planet just froze.
Yeah, so basically they just played a game of intergalactic snooker.
Pretty much.
They also use void shields on spaceships to avoid asteroids.
Wouldn't stop a big one, but yeah.
Yeah.
What bullshit is this Resin Thunderhawk?
Ah! Actually, they've actually retracted that and come out and said it is resin. Yeah.
Yeah, because GameStop never actually said it was plaster. They just said they're getting rid of the and just redoing it.
In their joke video, they have a box with the Thunderhawk slightly sticking out. It says plastic.
Yes, but that was a joke.
Yep.
They never actually officially said.
Well, a lot of things that Games Workshop does is jokes. I mean, just look at the Gathering Storm series.
Oh.
Ouch.
Would Alexis have a cat fight with Muriel Sabathiel?
No.
Oh, that would be fun. Oh wait, she doesn't really have a body. Yeah, it would still be fun.
Have you guys ever read the fan webcomics Eatertau or Eagle Ordinary?
Yes, I have.
Yes, I've read Eagle Ordinary. That stuff's really good. Did you think Magnus and Emperor be talking like in text-to-speech, etc., since he is somewhat near, but in this null void thing, just because be emping, calling him one-eyed, horny, flying, chicken, red, purple, people eater? What? I don't understand this question.
There's a song I think that goes like that.
There is.
I don't know it, but I think there's a song that goes like that.
I want to see fan art of my demon form pushing up against, like locking hands with Mariel Sabathiel, just pushing against each other with both swords in the background. That'd be kind of cool.
I thought you were going to say pushing something else.
No.
Alexis, you put yourself in a situation where that's immediately where people's minds are going to go.
I always put myself in those situations.
Anyway, who's the number one pirate in the universe and why is it Badrug? It's not Badrug, it's Caldor or Drago. I'm the pirate!
No, it's Badrug.
I would actually say it's him.
It's Huron Blackheart because he's technically a pirate.
Oh, yeah, true.
He's even got a parrot.
Well, Hamadria.
Yeah, it's a warp parrot.
Warp parrot.
Yeah,
sure.
We be space marines.
Let's just go with that. Move on.
If Screw Attack ever did a Death Battle episode with a 40k character, and you asked to do the voice of a 40k character, who would you like to do the voice of, and who would you have them fight?
Oh, God.
Actually,
otherwise, I don't trust myself.
It would have to be the most iconic. It would have to be Captain Titus versus, Master Chief.
I thought it'd be more Captain Titus versus Marcus Phoenix, because, both are, the same type of game.
Yeah, that too.
I don't know. The problem is
or just a battle royale with all the Space Marines.
Demon Primarch Angron versus the Hulk.
Yeah, but Demon Primarch Angron would win.
And do you realize how hard that would be to voice act? They're also asking you to voice act.
Yeah, I can do Angron. Just go. That's what you gotta do.
Okay.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
That's the entire conversation.
I don't trust myself to voice act any character. My voice just doesn't do what it needs to do that. And I don't really keep up with Death Battle, so I don't know if they've already done half of the people I could think of.
It doesn't matter. They repeat quite a few of them.
True.
On a scale of 1 to 10, how useless is Alan Vat on the tabletop?
Apart from being functionally immortal and being able to cast 2 invocations, which is actually kind of useful if you use him. I've never used him. He's probably just too expensive, so I'm going to say probably about a 4 tops.
I've killed him before. It was fun.
Yeah, he's pretty easy to kill. Yeah, you can kill Space Pope with a las gun easily. You can kill him with a freaking las cannon, surprisingly. Well, not surprisingly, that's the way the paradox of duality works.
In a melee battle between Valkyr the Bloody and Muriel Sabathiel, who would win?
Mariel Sabathiel.
Valkyr the Bloody.
Valkyr is Khorne's champion.
Valkyr, before she even became a demon prince, she had a celestial warband, came to her village, a keeper of secrets basically turned around and said, yeah, I'm going to rape your kids. She ripped the keeper of secrets' head off its shoulders with her bare hands, slapped it on a shield, killed a whole bunch of people, and Khorne just went, I'm in love.
Yeah, she was still human.
What kind of fight would they be in? I mean, they're both
a melee
smash.
fight. No, Valkyr's Khorne.
Oh, even
Valkyr's armed with a giant-ass spear, a head made from a shield made from a Slaneshi demon's head. And
has wings.
And she has wings. Valkyr is a beast.
Bear in mind, Valkyr is a demon prince. Valkyr is a demon prince. Muriel Sabathiel is not a demon prince.
No, but she's very high in the echelons.
Yes, but not as high as demon prince.
Average Joes can still beat demon. Average Joes can beat weak demon princes. So Valkyr doesn't qualify as a weak demon prince. So yeah, Valkyr every day.
Valkyr.
I'm gonna go with Mariel Sabathiel.
Then you need to play some more fantasy.
I will never play fantasy.
Or at
She
least
ripped a Keeper of Secrets head off with her bare hands when she was just a human, and a non-augmented human, a regular human, living in a farming village. She's basically like, "You don't touch my kids, bitch." Okay.
The Keeper of Secrets was outsmarted by Gilliman.
Yes. And
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
Gilliman.
he's also got centuries of combat experience. Valkyrie has.
I'm still
what,
going to go
30
with Mariel Sabathiel.
Valkyrie's only what?
Because
30
of
years
my
old?
bias.
Yeah, this is purely bias talking. Anyway, next question.
Question to Alexis: how would you kill off Lucius?
Oh my god. Actually, Mariel Sabathiel could do it very easily.
She takes no pleasure in killing.
No, she
Really?
literally has no body for him to possess. She's an empty husk inside her suit.
What do you think will happen to the Space Wolves?
They've already recouped from their losses, so...
That was quick.
Well, but they've regrouped. They've not recouped their losses because that would be
they're
bad.
pretty much back at almost full strength now.
How? That was fucking
Because
quick.
the Gathering Storm books are bullshit.
Yeah, I don't normally have too much of a dig at Gathering Storm, but if the Space Wolves are back at full strength already, then that's bullshit.
Well, I won't say full strength, but they have a few battle companies ready to go. Which, considering in the Wrath of Magnus, almost all of them were destroyed.
Yeah, I don't know what the total casualties were on Fenris, but
The entire planet.
I meant amongst the Astartes, but yes.
It was quite...
There are no wolves on Fenris. Not anymore.
Well, apparently there are.
Question for Michael.
Oh God.
Do you keep forgetting about Jagatai Khan because he's forgettable, or he's just too fast for you to see him?
Mainly because he's forgettable, but I'll humor you on that. I'll humor you.
He's the John Cena of 40k. Can't see him.
Question: the Joker from DC Comics is obviously an agent of Chaos, so which Chaos God would he follow, or would he be Chaos Undivided?
Definitely. He's devious for Zinj, kind of. Well, actually, depends on which era of Joker you go with. Because if you go with the trickster Joker, like the Silver Age, then that's more devious. If you go with the original mobster or the Jared Leto Joker, who's much more violent, then it's kind of in between. So depends on which Joker you have.
I wouldn't dedicate him to a Chaos God or make him undivided. I would actually have him as an Inquisitor.
He's obviously a servant of Malal.
That was my next point.
Would Angron calm down if he ate a Snickers?
No.
Yes.
Which the reply on this comment was no, only Kit Kats. When Gilliman got out,
is there a joke there?
apparently, I don't know. When Gilliman got out of stasis, was the first thing he said, 10,000 years can give you such a pain in the neck? I think that's the reference to Aladdin.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, well, what were Gilliman's first words, actually? Does anyone know?
He didn't
Who
say
the
anything.
fuck's in my room?
He didn't
Apart from
actually
Bart
say anything.
Morpheus.
He was just kind of went, "Oh, this shit's
Okay,
happening."
punch!
I'm assuming then it would have just been
Gilliman
some order.
smash.
It'll have just been some order then. Fair enough.
Has Slanesh ever rose up to a demon prince, someone who wasn't a badass warrior or the like, but instead someone who was like the galaxy's greatest artist, singer, or sculptor? If they haven't, would you like to see one as a named demon prince?
I think there've been cases of artistic individuals, but they've always ended up turning their arts to violent ends before being elevated.
But yes,
I
the answer
believe.
is yeah. They can. Well, you can ascend an artist to Slanesh. Artist,
Question,
musician.
Michael. Question for Michael. Will you one day do a video where you rant about the Emperor's Children and Slanesh? Because when that happens, I show no true happiness.
I have just done the Emperor's Children lore video. Unfortunately, because of the way that series works, it's not very rant heavy. Although I did, in the conclusion, put an apology if I said I was a bit disrespectful to them. I don't do full-blown rants very often, and
Neither
definitely
do I.
would.
Who would win in a duel of pre-plot? Who would win in a duel? Pre-plot armor Lucius or Cato Sicarius?
What kind of duel?
I assume a sword fight.
Fuck's sake. Pre-plot hole Lucius lost a sword fight to Saul Tarvitz, so I get the feeling Sicarius could beat him. I think Sicarius could beat him.
Cato Sicarius? Yeah, he could beat
Is there a way to reverse the effects of an exterminatus?
As in recolonize a planet that's been exterminatus?
As in, if it's been like scorched earth to turn to nothing but rock, can you just turn it back to a green, verdant planet?
I believe the Mechanicus has terraforming technology, they just don't use it very often.
Yeah, they do. It's, like you said, it's just not used often. Aren't they extremely rare and they can't be redone?
Maybe, I'm not sure of all the ins and outs.
Question for Michael. Will you ever say Alexis's intro?
No.
Oh, come on!
As I responded to, I think this is the comment thread where I said no.
Come on! Do it, please. Come on, please.
No.
Please.
No.
Come on. Alright.
We'll be here until next week if you carry on, Alexis.
All right,
No.
Let me just teach you my intro. What was it again? Anyway, next question.
You forgot your own intro. How the fuck
No,
did you
I
forget
was
your own
trying
intro?
to get Michael to say it.
That's why I started whistling, so you just have to talk over me whistling.
Oh dear. Do you think the Tyrants were created by the surviving Old Ones as a failsafe mechanism so they can cleanse the galaxy and recreate it to start over?
We need a goddamn source on this. Like, someone commented on one of my videos saying, oh, the Tyranids are the creation of the Old Ones, and I said, source, please.
Well, they also said the
think
Tyranids are fleeing this great predator, and I've read the source for that, and how did people draw a conclusion from that? They simply exhausted their food source and moved on.
Well, that's the theorizing on the Tyranids is like, why are they here? Other than not why are they here, but why weren't they in their own galaxy? Was it because they were running, or was it because they were out of food, or was it because they were just expansionists like crazy?
Well, I think the Pharos novel kind of answered that. When they blew up, and then in the middle of that void, a Tyrant hive just opens its eyes and sees this bright light and go, "Ooh, lads, dinner."
But it's not why did they come to here, it's why were they... Because they were already in what I would suppose is intergalactic space anyway, at that point, I believe.
Well, there's always a possibility they might not... And they might have just evolved into a void-dwelling hyper-organism in a way, and they just go to nearby galaxies to feed and refuel and then fuck off into the void.
Yeah, so the idea of them being a creation of the Old Ones is not impossible.
I think in regards to the Old Ones, it comes down to that one scene in the zoology book where you have this little exodite tablet detailing the creations of the Old Ones, and one of them looks a bit like a gaunt.
Yeah, that's a very...
But it's very stylized, like all the things like you got Eldar, Kroot, Orcs, etc., and they're all very stylized, very blocky and angular, and one looks a little bit like a gaunt.
Okay.
But for all we know, that could be a Terrellia. We don't know.
Yeah, I don't want to rule it out, but I don't think at the moment it's the accepted consensus.
No. I think they're just there.
Yeah.
It could also be that in their galaxy, they just headed directly towards us because of the beacon. Like, they were on just a planet, and we're just like, oh, hey, there's a beacon over there.
I think we're not debating why they're here. It's more like where they came from in the first place is what we're debating.
Yeah.
Why
they came here.
Well, we know why. It's their origin story that's up for debate.
Will Scyphor ever evolve into Scizor?
Ah!
That is a terrible pun.
Which I made a few weeks ago.
Yes, I know. Doesn't make it any less terrible.
If stands from JoJo's Bizarre Adventure existed in 40k, how would it affect the universe?
I don't know JoJo's Bizarre Adventure.
Never heard of it.
Alpha's going to kill you for that.
Good job I don't know him then.
Oh dear.
I still have to watch it.
Do you think Lehman Russ will be the next Loyalist Primarch to return?
It's probably Johnson, but it could still be Russ.
It's John Cena. He just pops out and he hears music going doo 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 doo.
So Khosrow Khan?
What?
Khosrow Khan? What?
No, sorry.
Do the Dark Mechanicus have a Skitarii equivalent?
Probably.
More than likely.
It'd probably be a bit more like akin to a human obliterator or mutilator than an actual Skitarii, like flesh and warpy and mechanical fusion. But yes, they probably will.
Could a Primarch take on Be'lakor?
Yes.
If Be'lakor wasn't cheating, then yes.
Well,
I suppose it also depends on what...
dead.
He's not dead. He was
I had this
banished.
argument twice. He's not dead.
He's dead.
He's not fucking dead.
He's dead.
Remleiz, next question, please.
Garrow's dead.
Yes, we know that.
Actually, you know the whole
Oh,
argument
do
about...
we?
Actually, you know the whole argument about Space Marines like being mortal and stuff? Well, there was a salamander who lived the entire time, not as a dreadnought. Managed to survive all the way to M41, I think.
I've seen this pop up, but I want to point out something as well. We do not know how many times he entered suspended animation because of the Susan membrane, because a Space Marine can basically survive in suspended animation for up to 300 or 500 years at a time. So we don't know if he went to suspended animation for 500 years, came out, then went back into it, to just kept doing it over and over again, and
Yes.
survived that way.
That's
We don't, because he was also known to be very withered and frail.
Oh yeah, I'm not saying he wasn't. I'm just making the point that Space Marines can make it this far. So the idea of, oh, yes, he's just dead because he was around during the heresy isn't completely valid.
No, but again, at the same time, you got to find somewhere safe enough to hide and just constantly keep spamming suspended animation, because if you don't, you're going to run out of fucking food and you'll fucking starve. And bear in mind how beefcake Space Marines are. They're going to need a lot of protein.
I'm just imagining a Space Marine just on a regular planet, like a paradise world, just like, this is amazing.
And then it turns out to be an X-Type world, and, you know, the X-Types are like, excuse me, do you mind getting off our fucking planet, monkey bastard?
He just goes to sleep for those parts when they come back. Gets back up. This
It's like,
place is
oh
still
no,
pretty
it's...
nice.
Yeah, he goes back and then wakes up again and says, oh no, it's a hive world. It's just built around him.
Oh, dear.
Since some rogue traders travel with Xenos crewmates, could there be an alien rogue trader as long as it proves to be useful to the Imperium? No,
Not as far as I'm aware.
because they're all human families and the trade warrants were issued directly by the Emperor himself.
You
Oh, has
guys
there not been one-
don't have to listen to me.
We have already established this.
That's
but
pretty much
go
what
on.
he does for them. Like the rogue traders. The rogue taters.
So, like, the High Lords have never been able to issue another license to another house.
They could repurpose them, but all of them were signed in the Emperor's own blood by the Emperor himself.
Fair enough.
That's the whole point of that, the whole subplot in the Nemesis storyline, because Erebus got hold of a trade warrant and it was written in the Emperor's blood. That's why he wanted it.
I see. Fair enough.
Is there any possibility that Alpharis and Omegon had a third brother due to the fact that the symbol of the Alpha Legion was a three-headed Hydra? Probably not, otherwise we would have heard about it by now.
Yeah, and the fact that the Hydra is always denoted as three-headed, it's the standard Hydra look.
Then again, bullshit.
Anyway. If every Primarch in 40k could be transferred to Game of Thrones, who would they be?
Never watched Game of Thrones.
What?
Yeah, I can't say that I watched Game of Thrones either.
Never
What?
watched it, never read it.
You guys are missing out.
Well, Remleiz, now we have activities to do.
Besides, I've got plenty to be getting on with.
It's literally... What's not to like about that series? You know, tons of violence, sex, undead, and dragons. What can you not love about it?
Does
I just
it have
never
a
got into
trap?
it.
What?
Does it have a trap?
It's got a midget.
That's not the same thing.
I just never got into it when it came out and never started.
You're missing out, man.
It's fine.
I'll eventually watch it.
Maybe.
You better, because it's season 7 this year.
Exactly why catching up is besides the point. I'll take my entire summer holiday to catch up.
And next year's the last season.
Yeah, when it's over, I might go back through. Whatever. Next.
If the Orc gods Gork and Mork would tear their way out of the warp to fight alongside their minions, as prophesied by Ghazghkull Thraka, would they instantly win the galaxy their prize, or would they be killed the second they met the Tyrants due to their warp origins?
Where is this prophecy?
Apparently, Ghazghkull prophesied it.
Well, actually, wait. The Ragnarok. Hang on. Let me have a look at the Ragnarok.
Actually,
The
I've
Ragnarok
wondered,
is.
are the orc gods in the warp?
Yes.
Oh,
But
God.
the orcs don't use the warp.
Don't forget, all emotions generate entities within the warp, so you don't have to be warp-based to create an entity in the warp.
Okay.
And don't forget, there's literally bazillions and bazillions of orcs. They're like
It'd
the
be funny
most...
if they were accidentally creating it in the web way. Because they're orcs.
Yeah, and all of a sudden, you're walking down, someone's coming out of Kimura, and all of a sudden you see this big orc god going, "Alright, how's it going? Let's smash the city up, right? Right, proper. You better not start, I swear on me mum."
Oh my god. Keep doing this voice, please.
Incidentally, Americans cannot do orc voices. I'm sorry, but you cannot do the right accent.
Hey! My orcs are New Yorkers.
Try it.
My
Try it.
orcs are
Please
New Yorkers.
don't. Yeah, there's
They say
no.
yo and boys.
Why Ghazghkull supplement?
Anyway, what is
There's-
the next question?
We're just waiting for Michael to double check the Ragnarok.
Well, I've looked at the Ragnarok and it just says that's their name for the big scrap on Armageddon. And as far as Ghazghkull goes, he's in communication with them. What about the Great War? Doesn't give any reference of actually that at all. No, he's right. To do so, we must defeat every other warlord, bring every last greenskin under his sway, and unite them all in a crusade that will drown the stars in war. Ghazghkull must unite this great war, and in doing so, call forth Gork and Mork to lead the boys in a glorious battle that will last forever.
There it is. Orcs are gonna save the universe.
By killing everyone in it.
Yep.
Whoa!
And all that.
If Gilliman decided to reform the Codex Astartes to allow larger chapters but not legion-sized, how effective would this change be, and how would current tactics change?
I can see him doing it.
I could see him doing it, but not every chapter. To be honest, that would mean the Salamanders would be even more fucked because they're not even at full strength today. Never have been.
Neither are the Imperial Fists.
And the Imperial Fists have pretty much always been under strength. Yeah, it would allow also Salamanders have no successors officially, but whatever. But yeah, it would allow the first founding chapters to top up. But the problem is, if you want to do that, do you recruit up or do you merge? Do you merge small chaps into the bigger ones, or do you just recruit everybody up?
I would do smaller into the founders.
Yeah, at which point it becomes a matter of argument of which chapter gets the honour of becoming part of their founding chapter. Which is it that between the mentors and all the other stuff? Who gets to become the Ultramarines?
Bob,
I mean, the
Bob
Dark
does.
Angels wouldn't have a problem with this. They'd be like, alright, lads, form up, we're a Legion again.
Well, they are anyway. They never
Exactly.
stopped. They just changed. Someone just put on different coloured pants. Right. Last question. Given how orcs affect things based on their paint job, would rainbow or multicoloured orc vehicles and equipment go faster, hit harder, and blow up bigger, as well as being the best?
Maybe. Depends how many orcs there are.
Would need much testing to verify.
I mean, if you had a couple billion orcs, then yes.
And that's it.
All right.
How many questions? We must get so many. Like you said last week was like 72 or something.
Probably more than that. I didn't count.
No, like last week I remember Alexis saying something like it's 70 odd.
Yeah,
feel
something like that.
14.7.
What is the significance of 14.7? Anyway, you know damn well the significance. No, I don't. Anyway.
What?
I don't know. I was thinking out loud, and Remleiz said, "Try and whatever." Awkward silence is awkward.
Well, I was waiting for one of you guys to go first.
Fine. Right, so if that's the questions done, as always, if you want to leave us a question for next time, then leave it in the comments with the word question. Bear in mind, we are doing a lot of talking about 8th edition. I'm sure you'll have your questions as we go along. So bear in mind, we might not get through all of them, because that just might happen.
Alright, so, rants. Who's got a rant?
I don't.
I do.
Okay, let the argument between Alexis and Michael commence.
Actually, no, Remleiz is probably going to want to get involved on this one as well, because it involves the human Magnus model.
Oh, great.
Can
I'm
you
going to say
stop?
sexy a whole bunch of times, and my slashiness is just going to be like, stop it.
No, can we just stop with the horn nipples, please? For fuck's sake, it's getting old, it's not funny, he's fine as he is.
But before you say it, can I just say, does tweaking his nipples make him horny?
Does this make you horny, baby?
That was the worst Austin Powers impression I've ever heard.
I am tired and American and a New Yorker. There are certain accents I can't do.
Including Orc.
Hey, don't you be dissing my boys.
Alexis, can you say I'm walking here?
I'm walking here. You guys are dumb.
Oh, come on, I come from Northern England, what do you expect?
And I come from the south.
Yeah. Bloody Southerners. Everyone, bloody Birmingham. If you come from Birmingham, you're bloody Southern, you're not Northern. Shove off.
I'm not from Birmingham, I'm from Reading.
No, I'm mainly talking to people who are from Birmingham that think they're bloody Northerners. They're not Northerners.
They're Midlanders.
At best, they're Midlanders. Everyone south of Lancashire is a Southerner.
I'm so
Everyone
confused.
south of the wall. It's like everyone east of New York City is from New Jersey or something like that.
Or whatever. But yes, that was my rant. Can we stop with the horn nipples and on human Magnus? He looks absolutely brilliant as is. Does not need to be messed with. Leave it alone.
I'm just confused considering that all the official art does have him with the horn nipples. That's why I'm so confused why his model doesn't have it.
Don't worry, Michael. I'll get yours, and I'll put some green stuff horn nipples on it for you.
No, I'm getting my own. That is my third year project. The entire of my third year is going to be taken up on that one model.
I'm going to be painting up a Magnus soon, making him wear a corset, and it's going to be hilarious.
Will you replace his sword with a massive dildo?
No,
he's
gonna have like a giant strap on or some dumb shit like that. I don't remember what I said because during my stream I was drunk.
In which case, Lex, you need to make your own kitten conversion.
Oh my god, yes.
Yeah,
and then have it professionally painted and send it to Alpha Busa.
I wouldn't sell
Not
it
Thunder.
to Alpha Busa. I would give it to him if I had it professionally painted.
Sure, it'll go to Thunder though.
Well, we can't really give it to Thunder or Zegram because Magnus and Key. You got to give it to Alpha, the creator.
Yeah.
I suppose.
As for rants, I don't really have one. I'm in a relatively good mood, and I can do an orc accent, you sons of bitches.
Prove it.
No, because you're just goodbye. That isn't a good orc accent, Alexis.
You did it last week. It was atrocious.
You're atrocious.
I know.
Why don't you make like a town die under my feet?
That was a little bit much.
I know, I'm sorry.
You're a towel.
Remleiz, stop it.
You stop it.
That doesn't even sound like the character.
You finally made me headbutt my desk. That has never happened before.
It sounded better than your Orc accent, Alexis.
Oh my god, this is fighting words.
Well, at least we're not invalidating your deity, at least.
I don't have it.
And now she shut up. There we go. We're done.
You guys are dumb. I hate you guys. Same time next week.
Or the week after. But yeah.
Whatever. I'm sitting in the warp. You guys are in real space.
I have stasis fields.
I don't.
Michael, only cool kids are allowed in the warp.
Or, a race that has psychic potential.
Nope.
Of any note.
Only cool kids. Anyway, I think we're done here.
Yeah, surprisingly, considering the amount of 8th news we got through, we've actually got through that in decent time. I'm kind of surprised, actually.
Yeah, that was relatively quickly.
Yeah,
Relatively
next
quick.
week. Yeah, next time though, when we've got a full 2 weeks worth of news. Actually, let's have a quick little round robin then. Release date. Go.
Oh, I actually marked it on my calendar. Based on my knowledge of video game release schedules and everything, I made this prediction. October 13th, Friday the 13th.
That is ridiculously late. I was going with July.
I think it's going to wait 6 more months.
You think they can get an article a day about the new rules for 6 months?
Yes.
Because that's what they said.
I'm going to say middle of June.
Yeah, some people were saying June. I was going July because 5th, 6th, and 7th all released in July.
Well, okay, let me rephrase that then. I think the full release of all 5 books and the official announcement and everything will be in October.
Okay. Well, based on trends, it's been July release and September for the box game, but we shall wait and see. And overall thoughts on it, without using the word it's just 2nd edition again.
I'm excited about it. I have made several videos about this explaining why I'm so excited for this game. I think it's going to be what Games Workshop needs. Their PR has been amazing. I really like this new style that they're doing. I think this is going to be fun.
Remleiz, any thoughts?
No thoughts.
Fair enough. Yeah, for me,
Remleiz
it's
might play the game.
If I can afford to get some shit.
Don't worry, you can use my armies.
With the rules being free, it's one
It's
less
going to
thing.
be hard for me to use your armies when you're across the fucking ocean.
Details. We'll figure that part out.
Details, man, they are important. Yeah, my overall thoughts on 8th so far is it looks pretty good. There's a few things that have got me worried, primarily whether the combat system will actually work properly, because I've had issues with it in AOS, and there's still a lot of questions that need to be answered about how the game's going to function going forward, i.e. 2+ save 2d6. Let's not start that argument again. Yeah, it's overall positive, but still cautious, I think, for me. And I would advise to people, I'll say this to both sides, the people who are fully on board with it and completely embrace the hype, I understand, but don't get carried away, because otherwise you'll just end up disappointed, because it will never be as good as you think it can be.
Oh,
realistically.
Also, I do have a comment. A lot of people are freaking out right now. They're selling off their armies, selling off their collections dirt cheap. Take advantage of it.
Yeah, those people I was also going to talk to is wait for fucking 6 months, give it a go. If you still hate it, then by all means sell up or play 7th. But there is no point either completely embracing it or writing it off until it's in our hands and we're playing it.
Yeah.
You don't know until you try it.
Absolutely.
The bisexual mantra.
Not quite the mantra I was going to live by, but close enough. Anyway, I think we're done here.
Yeah, sorry. I'm crazy.
Okay, and as we come up on 2 hours, ladies and gentlemen, that is the end of episode 17 of Adeptus Podcastus, and we hope you all enjoyed it. Arguments. Actually, I think that was the loudest argument we've had in a damn long time.
Hey, last episode I agreed with you.
I know, and this time we had a full-blown argument to make up for it.
No, my fault.
So yes, So yes, we hope you enjoyed the episode. It's been interesting as ever. If you have a question for us, feel free to leave it in the comments with the word question. Bear in mind, as I said, it's the 28th of April today, so that all the stuff that happens between now and the release date of this episode, we do not know about, we cannot talk about, but we will try and address it in the next episode, I am sure. And with all that said, my name is Michael for Tactica Imperialis.
This is Remleiz from 40k Theories.
I'm Alexis, Queen. Love me.
Thank you for watching, guys. We'll see you all next time. Goodbye.